If you're in business, it's pretty obvious that some customers are just more important than others. But how do you actually manage those crucial relationships, especially in a world where the whole power dynamic has been flipped on its head? Okay, let's get into it. We're going to break down the definitive guide to key account management.
And just so you know where all this is coming from, our deep dive today is based on the amazing work in this book by Diana Woodburn and Malcolm McDonald. It's really become the Bible for anyone serious about this stuff.
So I want to start with this story. A buying director at GM gets all his suppliers in a room and just tells them, flat out, you're all dropping your prices by 20%. And when one CEO actually pushes back, he gets escorted out. Now, whether every detail of that is true doesn't even matter. It perfectly captures this massive, seismic shift in power. This isn't just a tough negotiation, it's proof that the old way of selling is completely dead.
So what happened? Why is that old playbook so totally obsolete? Well, the entire business environment has been turned upside down, and it demands a completely new strategy if you want to survive, let alone grow.
For centuries, the mantra was caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Today, it's the total opposite. Caveat vendor, let the seller beware. We're in a world with way too many suppliers, which means the customer holds all the cards. As a supplier, you have to be on your toes constantly.
And this whole power shift is being fueled by a perfect storm of pressures. Markets are mature, which means for you to win, someone else has to lose. Globalization means your competition is everywhere. And your customers? Oh, they've got more choices, more information, and way less loyalty than they ever have before. This is the reality we're all dealing with.
So how do you even begin to navigate this new world? Well, the answer is something called Key Account Management, or CAM. But let's be super clear about something. This is not just a fancy name for the sales team that handles your biggest clients. It's way, way bigger than that. It's a whole business discipline.
And here's the most important point. KAM is strategic. It's all about building profitable, long-term partnerships with the right customers. It's about moving away from just making a sale to creating real, mutual value that protects your business's future.
And this isn't some vague, fuzzy concept. Real, world-class CAM is a structured 10-step process. It starts with the most important thing, picking the right accounts. And it goes all the way through to rewarding the team. Every single step is deliberate and absolutely essential.
Of all those 10 steps, this first one, honestly, it's everything. It is without a doubt the most critical step of them all. Why? Because if you choose the wrong customers to pour your resources into, your entire KAM program is basically dead on arrival. It doesn't matter how well you do the other 9 steps.
I just love this quote because it's so painfully true. Just letting your biggest customers become your key accounts by default, that's not a strategy. That's just waiting for a failure that's going to feel like a complete surprise. You have to be intentional about who you're building your future with.
So how many are we talking about? You might be surprised. The research shows that for most companies, even massive global corporations, the sweet spot for the number of true key accounts is somewhere between 15 and 35. You go much higher than that, and you just spread your resources way too thin to make a real difference for anyone.
Now here's the huge mental shift you have to make. Stop looking backwards at last year's sales report. The question isn't who was our biggest customer. The right question is, who has the most potential to drive our growth over the next 3 years? It's all about future potential, not just past performance.
And to figure that out, you need a sort of balanced scorecard. Don't just look at how much they could spend with you. You also have to ask, do their needs actually line up with what we're great at? And maybe, most importantly, do they even want a real partnership, or are they just going to beat us up on price every time?
Okay, so once you've done your homework and you have all this data, you need a way to visualize it. And that's where the Key Account Matrix comes in. It's an incredibly powerful tool for turning all that analysis into a clear, actionable strategy.
The matrix works on 2 really simple axes. First, the vertical axis is account attractiveness. That's your internal view, based on all those criteria we just talked about. Basically, how attractive is this customer to us? Then, the horizontal axis is relative business strength. And this is crucial. This is their view of you compared to all your competitors.
So in the top left corner, you've got your star customers. These are companies that are highly attractive to you, but right now, your position with them is pretty weak. These are your strategic targets. And the strategy here is simple. Invest. Invest your time, your people, and your resources to build up your position and win them over. The top right, this is the goal. These are your strategic customers. They're very attractive to you, and your position with them is strong. This is where you work together, you create value together, you innovate together. The strategy here isn't just to maintain the status quo. It's to keep making smart, strategic investments to make that partnership even deeper.
Now, down at the bottom right, you'll find your status customers. Your relationship with them is solid, but their future potential for you is pretty low. These were probably your strategic accounts 5 or 10 years ago. See how smart this is? Your strategy here is completely different. You manage these accounts for profit and stability, but you don't pour your best, most innovative resources into them anymore.
And finally, the bottom left, streamlined customers. They're not that attractive, and your position with them is weak. This is often the high-volume, price-sensitive part of your business. You might need them for cash flow, but the strategy has to be ruthless efficiency. You manage these accounts for cash and watch your costs like a hawk.
Okay, so now that we've walked through this whole framework, let's turn the spotlight inward. It's time to ask a few tough questions about how key account management really works inside your own company.
So think about it, and be honest. Is CAM a real strategic priority that your senior leaders actually care about? Is your customer selection process rigorous and focused on the future? Or is it really just a list of who bought the most from you last year? And are you truly creating custom value for these accounts, or just giving them a slightly better discount?
And really, all of this leads us to the final, most important question I want to leave you with. Take a good, hard look at your customer list. Are the accounts that soak up most of your time, your resources, and your energy, are they truly the customers that are going to build your future? Because if they're not, you have some very important decisions to make.